What God cannot do. My name is Yenoma Odosa. I'm going to just start from where this whole started. All my life, I've been like into fashion and music and school. But every time it's time for a big testimony, I will have a dream. I will see somebody exactly as dressed as I am. And whatever that belongs to me, once I see that person, it is over. I went to Enugu. I was supposed to be married 2018 or 19. I went to Enugu. I had a dream where they were supposed to introduce me to my mother-in-law to be. The lady came, took the guy, and left. For no reason, till now, I'm single. I was the face of Delta State. I was the first queen to take their crown from. 3 months into the coronation as the new queen of face of Delta, I had a dream. This same person dressed like me took the crown, took everything. For no reason, they said I traveled without telling my matron. They took it. And once I just have a dream. In fact, in my last relationship, I called the person. I was crying. I said, I had a dream and someone came to take you. The guy was laughing. He said, but you are yellow now. I said, yes, that's how the person is. He said, nothing will happen. Till today, we're not in communications. I can't tell what happened. So it became too much for my mom. My mom was not like, you're now advising, okay, let's go for spiritual. She's a Christian, but she was frustrated. They said, oh, water child. We went to water. We did everything. They said, I'll go and look for 3 junctions in the water. We did that. Look for 3 junctions in the middle of the water. Nothing happened. In fact, it became worse. I graduated, no work. I had to go learn sewing. I opened a shop. My younger ones contributed as the first child. They contributed money for me to open a shop in Lekki. The shop closed. I had a dream. She came into the shop. The next day, water came in, destroyed my goods of over 4 million. I sell menswear and fabric. I had to pack everything to the house. So my friend of mine, I went for a party because now I had to start depending on men to live. I went for a party and one of the girls that went with me were coming back in the morning and she was playing NSPPD. I was driving. The car that I'm using, I'm not the one that bought it. My younger ones bought it for me. I was driving and she was like, what's going on? I said, what kind of prayer is this? And she told me about the link. I joined casually 2022. I introduced my family, my mom. My mom took it seriously. We kept praying. 2023, I could not even pay my rent last year. My younger brother was the one that paid $1 million for me. So this year, September, this inanimate object, Papa was talking about it. My door without key was broken. There was no way for me to put key. I just remembered that I said, what God cannot do does not exist. The door opened. I was able to enter. I could not lock it from inside. I slept. I said, wow. That next day, I went, packed everything they gave to me. I went to throw it away. I went to buy a Bible. When I bought the Bible, every time I try to read, I always see Daniel chapter 5, verse 26. And there was a testimony that a girl gave here. She said she was losing hope. And all her money was going for her mother's drug. That she got a job, 9 minutes. And the company asked her, how much would you like us to pay you? I said, wow, this lie is too much. Like, I will pay the offering, but this lie, who is your father? Do you know the testimony? I was like, who is your father? I started praying. So I was like, okay, I stopped NSPPD, but things became too tight. I started praying back again. While I was praying, I said, God, I don't want to join the crowd. If Pastor Jerry is a real man of God, every time I bought this Bible, December, I became a Christian. I started going to Salvation Ministry. I started going. I was always joining Pastor Jerry. I said, I don't want to be wasting data. If he's a real man of God, let him call Daniel chapter 5, verse 26. And the hand of God came. I said, I don't know what it means. And the hand of God came, wrote on the wall, Mene, Teke, Ufarasin. That was on the 11th of September. My rent was supposed to expire 30th of September. I was preparing to commit suicide. I did not pray from on. I won't go and beg anybody again. So once I've been praying, I said, I will not beg. I went to meet my brother. I kept quiet. The Holy Spirit said, don't beg. I went back home. I fasted. On the 15th, I didn't pray from Monday to Friday. Something just said, pray. I didn't know that God has already gone ahead of me. On the 11th of September, Pastor Jerry had called my case 30 minutes into the prayer. He said he doesn't know in his exact word. He said, I doesn't know why I'm saying this, but this word is for somebody. He said, who is using your life as an entertainment? Who is using the vessel of God for their entertainment? And the hand of God, and the Bible verse popped up. And the hand of God came, wrote on the wall, Mene, Teke, Ufarasin. This is judgment on your enemies. That place me and my mother went to in the past.
Of God for their entertainment. Who is using your life for their entertainment? Who is using your life for their entertainment? The hand of the Lord came, the Lord came, wrote on the wall, Mene, Tekel, Ufasia, Parakoa, Eleviana, thou hast been weighed on the balance, Rabiana has been found watching.
Finished. And I said, let him explain. He now said, that hand of God is vengeance. The next thing the hand of God did is, when the hand of God came over Elijah, I had read that verse before in Kings, First King or Ezekiel. He said, when the hand of God came on Elijah, he had round. That was First Kings chapter 18. I had seen it before. I marked it here. First Kings 18:44. He said there shall be rain, and there was a hand on the cloud like a rain. I see something like a hand. He said when the hand of God will come upon you, not just the verse. He continued on this same thing. He said when Elijah outran the hands of the chariot of Ahab, where you are going next, you will outrun people that have been before you. You will outrun everybody. Lo and behold, my baby sister, the last born, she just finished NYSC. I have a master from Lagos Business School because we thought it was just. I've never used my certificate to work. I had to go learn tailoring. I'm a graduate from Lagos Business School. My baby sister, she went to serve in Canadian embassy. They gave her the job. They retained her. She's going to Canada. I'm like, no. So I held on to that word. I said, I will overtake all my younger ones. His word has come. That was on the 15th, and this happened on the 11th. And now my faith was strong. On the 30th, my landlord sent me a message. Your rent is due. I was not shaking. I said, I will not beg. 5 minutes after that, a call came. Odosa, you have not posted any clothes on your update. I said, I've closed my shop. He said, I want to buy clothes. I said, I cannot make a new clothes when I've not sold the old one. He said, okay, do you want to go for a job interview? The Minister of Finance for Nigeria is looking for a social media manager. Do you want to go for an interview? I said, I can't go. Are they paying for my ticket? He said, no, you are on your own. If you pass the interview, fine. If you don't pass the interview, you can go back to Lagos. The next day on Monday, Pastor Jerry started, go for that job interview. Your name is on that list. I did not know they were making a list. I thought it was just me. Your name is on, even if your faith is not enough. I looked at my account, 800K. My rent in Lagos, 2.5. The next day, Pastor Jerry repeated it. Your name is on that list. Go. God has gone ahead of you. And I went and withdrew 300K. I booked a one-way ticket. I said, if the thing does not work, I'll use night bus back to Lagos. I booked a one-way ticket from Lagos to Abuja. When I got to Abuja, I squatted at a friend's place. On the day of the interview, I came here. Papa was praying. I was praying seriously. After everybody was done, I joined them to sweep. I lied down here on this altar. I slept off. I had a dream, but that water my mom took me to. Some 3 men came. They held me. Where is that box we gave you? There was a box of money they brought out from the water and said, that's my wealth that was in the water. They're like, where is the box? In the dream, I was telling them, I don't have the box. They away everything and bought a Bible. Someone woke me up, 9:40. My interview is by 10. I'm like, God, I was sleeping here. I quickly ran. Lucky it's not Lagos, so in 15 minutes I could get to the office. I got there. When I got to front of Ministry of Finance, I brought out my phone. I did a video. I said, the next time you see me, I will be working for the Minister of State Finance for Nigeria as their social media manager. I went inside and we were lost. They did interview. I didn't know there was a list, but Pastor Jerry was always saying, your name is on that list. I didn't know we were going to be 3 of us. So on the 13th, my rent already, my landlord, on the prayer altar, Papa said, write what you don't want and write a congratulation. And I said, the same day my eviction notice will come. It's the same day my congratulation. 9 a.m., my landlord was the first person. We are taking action now. Whether we see you or not, we are breaking in and we are trying your things. I did not reply. I said, the devil is a liar. I wanted to send the person that called me for the job. But I remember Papa said on Sunday, because I attended Sunday service here, he said, don't help God for anything. You cannot help God. I deleted the message I sent to the guy. I waited. By 3:30, congratulations, you have been given the job. The main reason that made me to stop NSPPD, that lie, is the same question they asked me. How much would you like us to pay you? Lo and behold, I was one that chose my salary. I work with the Minister of State Finance. That I was looking for transport fare and flying private jets in less than a month. I just want to give God the praise. I'm located to Abuja. Thank you.
Is that how you are celebrating? Hey! The Lord will help you. Who shall condemn you?